Test 3. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to part 1. Part 1. You will hear a woman phoning a travel agency about hot air balloon rides. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning. Smart Travel. Jason speaking.
Hi, good morning. I saw your advert in today's paper about hot air balloon trips. It sounds pretty exciting, and I wonder how much it costs.
Well, the price may vary depending on the location, number of participants, and add-ons. A single ride may cost you up to £280 per person, but if you choose group booking, there is a discount, and the cheapest flight is £125 each for a group booking of at least 10 people.
Oh, that's not too bad. What do you mean by add-ons?
They are optional items, like taking photos for you during the ride, champagne, and sit-down breakfast after the flight. Upon completing the trip, we will provide each participant with a certificate, and that is entirely free of charge.
Can I book a ride over the phone?
Yes, that's an option. Reservations can be made 1 year ahead of your trip by telephone, but to pick a specific date, you must book online. A confirmation email will be sent to you right afterwards.
How high can the balloons go?
A hot air balloon's height is limited by the temperature of the air and how much fuel it can carry, and the highest altitude ever recorded for a ride is 1,800 meters, but most rides stay below 300 meters.
Oh boy, that's impressive. How long is a single ride?
The average hot air balloon ride lasts about an hour. The entire ballooning experience, which includes ground preparation, flight and post-flight packing up and celebration, may take 2 to 3 hours.
And what time are the flights?
Our flights generally meet about an hour before sunrise on the day. You will be notified of the exact meeting time the evening before your flight. Night flights are avoided due to weather conditions.
Fair enough. Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10. Which month do you recommend for a hot air balloon trip?
Autumn is the best time of year to take the trip. Not only can you see the changing hues of the trees from above, but it is a great way to spend time with the whole family before it gets too cold.
I see.
But please note that our flight may be cancelled and you will be notified by phone the day before.
Why is that?
It can be quite dangerous to fly under bad weather conditions, like a thunderstorm. So our experienced pilots will not go under such conditions.
What should I wear for the ride?
We suggest wearing comfortable clothing, like a jacket. Multiple layers are always better. Wearing a helmet for safety concerns is also a good idea. Sandals are not permitted.
Can children or older people participate?
All children must be above the minimum age of 9 years old, and they have to be accompanied by at least a parent or guardian. However, an adult has no age limit as long as they meet the health requirements.
What exactly are the health requirements?
Participants must at least be in fair physical condition. For example, they shall have no significant knee, hip, or back problems and no recent surgeries or broken bones. They must also stand unassisted for an hour during the flight. It is the required position during the whole flight. As the balloon comes to land, all passengers will need to adopt the landing position with knees bent in front of them.
Are those rides safe?
Hot air balloon companies are required to have a commercial balloon pilot license, and all our pilots go through rigorous training before they are allowed to fly. It is a relatively gentle activity. However, the impact of a balloon landing can vary drastically depending on factors like wind speed. Sometimes it is similar to the momentum of jumping off a small chair. If you cannot jump off a small chair, speaking to your doctor before booking a balloon flight is best.
Thank you very much. I think that's all I need to know.
Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 1.
Part 2. You will hear the head teacher of Rivermead School talking to a group of journalists about facilities at the school that are open to the general public. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
What I'd like to do at this meeting is to tell you a bit about the facilities that Rivermead School offers people in the community. I'd like to start by talking about the new theatre that we've just opened in our school. Its mission is to maximise opportunities for local audiences to experience productions of the highest quality. Amongst other things, this will involve offering a place where professional drama companies in the area can perform. But there'll also be opportunities to host national and international companies, both those which are up and coming and those which have already established a reputation. Details of our first season's theatre programme are already online. I hope you'll agree that it looks very exciting. As well as music and dance, there'll be drama from modern writers, and there'll also be a high proportion of shows aimed at children and families. You'll notice that there is one empty space in November. That's because the Chinese state acrobatic troupe have had to cancel their visit, but hopefully we'll be able to announce a replacement very soon. Now, we're often asked about the theatre's sources of funding. Well, a limited amount of money will come from various government subsidies, but the bulk of the revenue will be generated by the sale of tickets, which is one reason why we'd be grateful for your help in promoting the work of the theatre. In addition, there are opportunities for individuals to support the theatre on a regular basis through its sponsorship scheme. The benefits to donors include access to rehearsals and to show previews. But the new theatre isn't the only facility which is open to everyone. The school also has a small museum. This holds various objects that were found when the ground was excavated to lay the foundations for the building, as well as other historical objects. Entrance to this is free. We also have a state-of-the-art sports hall. This is reserved for our students during term time, but anyone can use it in the school holidays. And our cafeteria is worth a visit. It has a varied menu, and it's open all day to visitors, as well as staff and students.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Right, I'll just point out some things on the map of the school campus I've given you. First of all, the theatre. That's opposite car park P2 on the south side. You're not allowed to park anywhere except in the car parks. There are two marked on your map, P1 and P2. But there's a new car park which has only just been completed, and that's at the most northern end of the campus. Some people might want to consider coming by bus. There's a good service from the city centre to the school, and the bus stops at the roundabout. That's where it turns round to go back, so you have to get off there. It doesn't go up as far as Park Road. Then, to get to the sports hall, you take the right fork after the main entrance and just keep going past the classroom block. You have to go straight across the roundabout, and it's further on the right-hand side of that road. Then there's the cafeteria. There are various ways to get there because it's at the junction of Park Road and Rennie's Drive, on the north side of Park Road. In nice weather, you can sit outside to eat and admire the view. Then the museum is fairly central. Just go left after the main entrance. Take the first turning on the right, and when you reach a junction, the museum is facing you. Now,
That is the end of Part 2. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to Part 2.
Part 3. You will hear two students named Peter and Lynn discussing Professor John Smith's article about online course. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Lynn, I just finished reading Professor Smith's article about the benefits of online courses. What are your thoughts on the article?
Hi Peter, when I read that article, it was clear to me that Professor Smith does not favour the traditional methods of classroom teaching. Although I can certainly acknowledge that there are some advantages to online course, I would say that internet courses are not always the best means for teaching and learning.
I think it's about time to revolutionize the old teaching style though.
but I would hope that students consider the negatives of online learning before enrolling in online courses.
This shouldn't be a big issue since online courses are so common these days. At least, I won't struggle so much. And Professor Smith points out that computer learning is well suited for some courses, especially the technical courses.
Unfortunately, that theory doesn't work for me.
What a shame. I got an A for that online computing course last year. Anyway, next part is personal interaction. I think the personal interaction offered by traditional teaching is overrated in the article and doesn't have much value. I think it's a distraction and that time could be better spent on the subject matter of the course.
Oh, I disagree strongly, Peter. You're dismissing the benefits of face-to-face interaction between students and teachers in traditional classroom settings. The article says that learning is a two-way street, and it's much easier for students to learn if they can ask questions and have discussions with their teachers.
I'm still not sure about that, but online courses can foster students' technological skills. In learning the subject matter online, students will gain the technical know-how they'll need in their future endeavors.
I can't agree more. What do you think Professor Smith means when he says online courses should be flexible in time?
That's essential. The point of learning online is to allow those who can't attend courses at fixed time.
I agree.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
The second part of the article shares some thoughts about the use of internet on campus. I'm kind of lost in that part.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is that students are already accustomed to doing their research on the internet, although some people say computers could be better used for other purposes. He emphasizes that many teachers are already instructing students to use the computer as a research tool.
Thanks for clarifying that. What about the next part saying that students are divided? Do you know what that means?
Well, it's certainly not that some students are afraid to use computers. They're already well accustomed to that.
You're right about that. Most students already use the internet as their primary source for news and information.
Professor Smith probably intends to say that computers are not easily accessible and available to all students.
Yes, not all students can afford computers. And as Professor Smith note, with online courses, the student support system is already in place. Instead of asking fellow students or the professor for assistance, students would be able to get any information they need online. And this assistance would be available immediately.
So, why do you think Professor Smith is recommending the use of computers as the school's main means of educating students? Do you think he is interested in reducing some of the fees associated with traditional classroom courses?
I think it's all about the money. He is promoting online courses simply because he thinks it will enable the school to make more money.
I never thought of it that way.
Many schools already have limited space for classrooms. If the school board wants to enroll more students, they can do that through distance learning mode. Instead of recruiting more teachers, the same course resources can be sold to both online and offline students. Plus, some computer companies are willing to financially support the schools that promote this type of learning.
I see. This is profitable in every sense. All right, now we'll have something to write about in the research paper.
That's the end of part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers.
Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture related to how technology contributes to education. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40. Hello and welcome to today's seminar about education. Education is a lifelong process. There is no limit on when to start and stop, and we have been using technology so much these days in each and every sector of our lives, including education. Have we ever taken out a second to wonder if it's leaving a positive impact on our work, or it's just that we have been relying on it so much that we've become used to it? Earlier, there was a lot of debate about technology in education amongst the faculty at our school. Everyone had their own views. At first, some believed that the use of email between students and teachers made them interact with each other less, and this was not a good thing. But gradually, as technology was embraced by more educational institutes, they realized the importance of technology in education. Technology and education are a great combination if used together with a right reason and vision. Moreover, there is a strong relationship with the local economy when it comes to the effectiveness of the use of IT in education. In the more developed areas, the schools and institutions have better access to more advanced technology, and the teachers are better trained to use the technology to improve the quality of their classes. In contrast, in some less developed regions and remote areas where technology is not so common, the effectiveness can't be guaranteed. However, wherever they are, the most common example for teachers using technology in education is the usage of computers in their teaching methods. In most classrooms, you can see teachers using computers to present teaching notes and other materials. This year, the IT School of Westbrook University has implemented a brand new education mode. Since its implementation, both teachers and students have been praising this new mode. It involves a kind of software which allows students, as well as teachers, to talk and discuss with each other more easily, and they said they enjoy this way of communication. What's more, the mode offers students a channel to post any work that they are proud of, whether it's a nice photograph that they take, a case study they do, a song they record, or even just a great idea they have. So it gives them a chance to showcase their strength and build up their confidence. Many students use this feature to show the best of themselves. It also provides students an opportunity to choose what they learn on the internet, so they no longer have to sit in the classroom listening to something they are bored with. And they don't have to wait all night trying to register for their favorite elective courses. Compared with the traditional platform, it is more flexible. The open source which the new mode provides is free for students to use when they are trying to look up for online materials for their papers or researches, and the data will not easily be found on the internet because only registered users have access to the database. By the way, all the materials are original works of teachers or scholars, so there is no need to worry about the quality of the content. And with the overwhelming amount of unwanted information on the internet, this mode gives students a new search engine they can use on campus. So information like advertisements and skeptical sources will be filtered easily. This is a perfect example of new solutions to new problems. Apart from that, students can arrange their daily activities and improve their time management skills by simply ticking the boxes in the timetable online. They can set up their own starting time and their deadline for each assignment. Based on statistics, the use of this function has a positive effect on the students who constantly procrastinate. By the end of the first term, the number of students who asked for extension for their papers had decreased by 10%, which was quite an achievement. Another feature that seems very creative to me is that students can help people who have questions or problems relating to their field of studies on a special platform. They can even have some income by providing people with good solutions. So, this new mode is making the most of the IT. That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.